Yesterday on page 81 at the bottom with the question is, what's higher, your soul or the garments of the soul? The answer is the garments. For that reason, the soul comes into this world, you want to come down into this world in order to do mitzvahs because you need these garments. You can't go to a wedding without a beautiful dress. Page 82 at the top. The quality of the garments that we get from learning Torah and doing mitzvahs is, see what it says here, infinitely higher and greater than the nefesh, ruach, and the neshama itself, or themselves. And he brings this as a proof from the Zohar. I mean, that's really going to the top. The Torah and HaKadosh Baruch Hu are not two things. This is a fundamental idea. It's a very difficult idea. Hashem is the Torah, and the Torah is Hashem. Not two different things. We say in common parlance, good morning, Moriah, that we are what we eat. Could also say we are what we do. Person is a dancer, an outstanding dancer. My youth, the outstanding dancer was Rudolf Nureyev. He was dancing with the Russian ballet, and he came to perform. Obviously, they trusted him to let him leave Russia to perform. He came to England, and he could leap. He leaped. He leaped over the security and ran and said, "Please, give me haven." He became the star dancer of the British London Ballet. And this woman who was a female dancer, and she was so good that she was, you don't call a female dancer a sir, call her a lady. She became Lady Jane Fontaine or something like that. Came out of retirement in order to perform together with him. So we are what we do. He was a dancer. We are what we think. Certain philosophers say Einstein is a thinker. He is a thinker. Well, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah, which Hashem gives us, that's who he is. He is the Torah, and the Torah is he. Since Torah is the wisdom and will of Hashem, what is the Torah? Torah is wisdom, and the Torah is what Hashem tells us to do. It's what he wants us. So that means it's the will and the wisdom of Hashem. And therefore, since Hashem is a great king and his majesty is universal, so the Torah is great and glorious like he is. Now we come to this famous statement here that actually is going to become a matter of great contention amongst Mekubalim. They're not going to agree with this. Because since Hashem is the creator of everything, so he knows everything. By knowing himself, he knows everything. Like King David says in the Psalms 70, I think it's Tzadik Dalet, 94. If a person creates an eye, do you think he doesn't see? If a person creates the ear, do you think he cannot hear? Hashem is the creator of everything, so he knows by knowing himself, he knows everything. So he is the one who knows. He is the creator of the thing that we want to get to know, so he is the thing known. He is the knower. He is the knowledge itself. He is the philosophy. The philosophy is just an expression of him, of his thought, of his knowledge. So he says that Hashem is, bottom of page 82, he is the knower, the knowledge, and the known. We cannot understand that because Even if we have knowledge, it's not us. It could become connected to us, but it's like something else that became connected to us. We didn't used to have it, and we got it, so it's an addition to us. You can't say anything is an addition to God. There's nothing that's an addition to him, because he's the creator of everything. That's what we mean when we speak about God. And that's what Yiddishkeit is all about. And normal people cannot understand that. That's a mind-boggling thought. How can a person be the thing that's known and the knowledge and be the knower? And again, like we spoke about this example, and I speak about it again because it's such a profound example of the dancer. When you go to the ballet and you watch a performance, what are you watching? You're watching the dancer, you're watching the dance. You cannot tell the dancer from the dance. They become one thing. So similarly with Torah and mitzvahs, we can't separate the mitzvah that we do. We become the dancer. The dance with the mitzvah is the dance, and Hashem is the thought process, the choreographer who designs the whole thing, and becomes one tremendous unity. And when a dancer dances, he obviously has to have many skills, and which he or she trains at length to develop these skills, and they become one thing with the dancer, right? Follow me? And then you can't separate the dance from the dancer. Or the music from the musician. Now, moving along to page 83. Now, even though, I just want to interject here. Okay, I'll save that. Okay. Even though Avda Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He, is Ein Sof, that is to say, there's no end, there's no limit to Him, and there's no thought that could grasp Him, because any thought that we have is limited to our intellect, to our IQ, and our understanding. And similarly, His will is infinite, and we cannot fathom the depth of His will. Like, we could understand reasons why we do a certain mitzvah. For instance, why do you light Shabbos candles? Seems such an obvious thing. My mother lit Shabbos candles. I shouldn't do it. But you light Shabbos candles, there's a reason for it. Because if you don't light Shabbos candles, it's going to be dark. How do you feel if you're all alone in a dark room? Scared, nervous, lonely. How do you feel in a room when there's candles? You feel wonderful. You feel good. You feel happy. What happens if you don't have the candles? You want to move around, you're going to trip on a chair, you're going to hurt yourself. So in order not to feel depressed and unhappy, in order not to hurt yourself, we have Shabbos candles. It's obvious. You think that's what Shabbos candles are all about? No, much, much more. Shabbos candles. When I was a little boy, my mother would light Shabbos candles. The whole house would stop. Someone would notice that mommy was lighting Shabbos candles, and everybody would get up and go quietly over and stand around her. And she would be standing there with her eyes covered. She used to go like this, before. I said to her, a little boy, I said to her, why did you do that? She says, to gather in the holiness. So something beyond what we understand. It's the holiness. The candles bring the holiness into the home, and it rests upon the whole of the house. The first time I ever kept Shabbos by myself, that's what I did. I got candles, and I did what I saw my mother do. I was 27 years old, like this. And all of a sudden I felt so close to my mother, my aunt, my sister. It's like connected with everybody everywhere. And that's what Hashem wants, because we're connected not just with other people like that, but we're connected with Hashem and his wisdom, who gave us this wonderful, wonderful mitzvah, which we have from Sarah. That was my mother's name. Blessed memory. Sarah Imenu and Rivka Imenu. We don't have a Sarah in this class. You're lighting a Shabbos candle. Sarah Imenu, Rivka Imenu. Leah, we don't have a Leah in this class either. Leah used to sit there where Izzy sits. Blonde Leah. And Rachel, they're all together with you. Doing it. They're all doing it together with you. Hashem is doing it together with you. The Shekhinah is resting upon you. Can you imagine? And you think you can understand that? You can't understand that. Shekhinah is Hashem. Shekhinah is infinite. And they're hovering upon you, embracing you. You are embracing Hashem, and Hashem is embracing you. Ein cheker, there's no fathoming what's going on here. Lisvunase, there's no way we can understand so deeply what's happening. And it says in the middle of page 83 now, Hacheker elokat himself, a person who is going to search for the ultimate truth, is he going to find it? No. He'll find truth as much as he can be in touch with it, but he'll never get to the end of understanding it. So the most important thing is doing it. Just do it. Just do it. Or if it's a negative thing, just say no. No, thank you. And then he brings from the prophet Yeshayahu, Isaiah, my thoughts are not like your thoughts. Bottom of page 83, continuing, okay? So how did Hashem, if Hashem is so great, how did he bring himself down into such a small thing like lighting a Shabbos candle? That's real sign of greatness. Not to look up into the sky to see his majesty on display, but more than that, what we see when we do a mitzvah is we see his humility. He's small, that he makes himself so small. And the popular image for this is a father who's brilliant genius gets down on his hands and knees and plays with his child. Page 84. Where do you see the greatness of Hashem? Vasanuse, in his humility. I'll tell you a story about humility. A friend of mine made a terrible mistake. Still a friend, but he made a terrible mistake one year. Everything is by divine providence, but it was a terrible mistake. It happened through him. He wanted to be really righteous before Pesach. For Pesach, we get all the leavening out of the house, all the bread and the cookies and everything. And he was checking his house with a candle. That's how we check, with a candle. And he looked under the bed, because maybe there was crumbs under the bed. And there was something from the bed hanging down, highly flammable. and the flame touched it and it just went up, caught fire. And he didn't know what to do now. The bed was aflame. What he had to do was just shut the door, close the window, shut the door, and it would use up the oxygen. Instead, so he thought, I got to get this out of the house, or the house is going to burn down. So he grabbed the mattress and ran down the stairs. The stairs were narrow, and there were curtains hanging in the stairway. And the curtains got fire, and then the whole house was ablaze. The whole adventure was terrible, and there was a child left inside, a newborn child, baby, young child, infant. And the mother went in to save the infant and couldn't. The smoke pushed her back out. But a little child followed her in because she was his mother, and he got left inside and needed to be saved. And this heroic fireman saw that there was a window high up, maybe on the second floor, and he just, a small window to the bathroom, and he dove through the window head first, came down on his hands and knees, and went underneath the smoke, searching for, I guess, holding his breath, searching for the child that got left behind, grabbed the child and ran with the child, ran down the steps with the child in his arms. He caught fire. He ran out of the house and rolled around on the grass to put the fire out. And he saved the child. So the young man, whose house had just burned down, now had to celebrate Pesach, didn't have a house. On the weekday of the holiday, he went to the hospital to thank the fireman who saved the life of his child. He visited him. He was recovering from his wounds, his burns. And he said to him, I don't have words to thank you for what you did. And he looked at him and he said, that's all right. He said, it was a team effort. Can you imagine? Wait a minute, team effort. He did it all by himself. That's called humility. An opposite response is, yeah, I'm a fireman. You know, of course I'm great. No, he said, I'm nothing. I'm just part of a team. We're all in it together. So Hashem made himself small like that in order to share with us himself. Because when we do a mitzvah, that mitzvah is Hashem. It's like putting on a garment of holiness. When we learn Torah, we're bringing this holiness and this wisdom into our brain and into our heart. And now he extends the thought, page 84. Not only is it expressed in the clear statements of the Torah, like you should love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. That's a statement in the Torah. You should have a mezuzah on the door. You should eat kosher food. Don't eat, don't drink, don't have blood. Remove the blood. You have to salt the meat before you eat it and soak it. You have to take your money and give 10% to charity. 9%, a millionaire who gives 9.5% to charity gives tons of money, but he never did the mitzvah, tzedakah. It only starts when you pass the 10% mark. Then it starts. That's just the beginning. Okay. Well, it's not just these statements that are an expression of Hashem's will or his wisdom. It's every single word in the statements. And not only every single word, it's every single letter. Like, take this idea of what is an aleph? So we know from the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe took a student and said, you need to support your family. I need to educate my son. Let's trade mitzvahs. You educate my son, and I will give you the wherewithal to support your family. I'll pay you. He said, but Rebbe, I don't know how to teach your son. The son of a Rebbe, how can I teach him? The Rebbe said, you teach him aleph base. What's an aleph? It's a dot just a dot on high, and a dot below. Maybe it should be like that, there for the way you look at it. And a line that separates the two of them. The dot above is your neshama. The dot below is you. Or a higher level is your neshama, or the way neshama is in your body. And the line between them is your belief in God. The different versions of what that actually means. Some could say the dot above is God, the dot below is you, and the line between is what connects you to Hashem. That's an aleph. So everything has a very profound symbolic significance. So it applies even to the letters, not just the words of the Torah, but also the prophecies that have been conveyed to us through the writings, the recording we have of the prophets, the prophecies of the great prophets. And not only that, but the stories of the writings of the Jewish people. You know, the whole story of King Shaul and David HaMelech and the leaders of the Jewish people who came after them, and the struggle to establish the belief in one invisible God in the generations that came afterwards. It didn't just happen. You might think that that's how it's going to be, that the Jewish people came to Mount Sinai and God revealed himself, and afterwards everything was fine. No. The Yetzer Hara made life very, very difficult for the Jewish people, and there were periods when idol worship, even after Mount Sinai, was rampant. One of the great leaders of the Jewish people at that time, a great Torah scholar, instituted idol worship as a national thing in Israel. And when one of the sages was giving a shir about it, so he had a dream in which this great leader came to him and said to him, if you had lived in my time, a team of horses would not have held you back from worshiping idols. It was such a powerful force in the world. Like today, who goes without a car? Everybody has a car. You're going to go to college, you're going to get a job, you're going to get a car. How can you live without a car? How can you live without a house? You have a deep desire to have these things, to have a family. Well, the sages were very concerned after the temple was destroyed. How are the Jewish people going to survive? The power of idol worship is so powerful, is so great. Who is going to be able to resist? So all the sages got together and they made a gezerah, a decree, and they banished the power of idol worship from the world. Anybody here want to worship idols? No. How come? It was so powerful then. Why isn't it a powerful thing now, except in India? Or maybe Tibet. Nobody does these things. A friend of mine worked in this big company, Morgan Stanley. He said millions of dollars were going through his computer every single day. And his colleague was from India, and he was talking to him about idol worship, how meaningful it is. It really works. You just have to know which idol to serve for what you want, and so on. He was astonished. Because basically, idol worship was banished from the world. Nobody here is interested in idol worship. It's disgusting. It's abominable. It's a disgusting idea. You get your life. You know, there's a saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. You know, if you have a dog, you go to feed the dog and he bites your hand. It's not nice. You shouldn't be like that. If a person is helping you, don't turn around and do something terrible to him, to hurt him. You don't bite the hand. Here Hashem is giving us life, and we say, thank you. Oh, I love this idol. I bow down to this idol, and everything good happens to me. It's a disgusting attitude. That's why idol worship is such a terrible thing. We have no desire to do it. So what happened? The sages saw the world is going to go amok. No one's who's going to hold the people back from worshiping idols. And if everybody's worshiping idols, then the world will come to an end. Hashem won't keep the world going anymore. That's why there was terrible calamities that happened in the world. So what did they do? They abolished it. The sages abolished idol worship, but nature abhors a vacuum. What's this? How do vacuum cleaners work? You suck everything out, so something else has to come in. The dust, the dirt, right? So if nature abhors a vacuum, that means if you take away idol worship, something has to replace it. So what replaced idol worship? Money. People worship money and power. It comes with money. The previous Rebbe spoke about this and said he doesn't know it was such a good deal. Because when you worship an idol, you know you're doing something that's wrong. But if a person devotes himself to acquiring money, he doesn't think there's anything wrong with it. It's good. He can get whatever he wants for the right price. So he says, and then he goes on to say, and the will and wisdom of Hashem is expressed not only in the teachings of the Torah and the prophets and the writings, but in every single letter, and not just the letters that are recorded as part of the volume, the whole work of the Torah, but the explanations that we have in the Agadatas, which is the teachings of the sages that give us the background behind everything that happened, the history and the deeper levels of meaning, even the mysticism. That's all part of it too. Every single letter. And in all of these, Hashem compressed his will and his wisdom to the bottom of page 84 now, so that every single person, on whatever level he is, will be able to relate to it and grasp it in his physical brains. On the level of his nefesh, which is the lowest level, or a higher level, which is the level of the ruach, or a higher level, a level of the neshama, in order that we should be able to grasp these ideas and to fulfill them, to live them out, and to do what they say, and to say what they mean, and to learn, and to think, and to share. And we do that with all the 10 aspects of our neshama, which is the 3 aspects of the intellect and the 7 emotions that are seated in the heart. And they are the drivers of all our actions, all our words, and all our thoughts. And that's our class for today. So we're going to continue tomorrow. Bezras Hashem. What is the schedule for this week? How many days do we meet?
I think
tomorrow, yes?
Tomorrow, yes, and Wednesday, yes.
Wednesday, yes?
Yes, I think Thursday, Friday.
And then a long weekend. Okay. So we're on page 85, and the shir is up to where it says the second day of Tevis. Thank you for coming. That's when the first time I learned this chapter, I became so very excited to see how everything comes together. Nothing like it. And you think to yourself, what did I do to deserve this? I could have just kept on going, trying to figure out what life is all about. Maybe our great-great-grandfather interceded on high. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam bo nefashos rabos v'chesronan al kol ma shebarasa lacha yisbarach nefesh kol baruch chei haolamim. A young man from Adar Torah came to eat with us the other week. And he told me that he converted. It took him many years to finish his conversion. And he just felt that he had to just keep on working at it, that's all. It wasn't happening. He just kept working on it for years. And then finally they called him up and they said, listen, we want to schedule a date. You're going to have a circumcision, you're going to go to the mikveh, you're going to take on yourself Torah mitzvahs, you're going to become Jewish. He was so overwhelmed. He couldn't believe it. Have a wonderful, happy Hanukkah, everybody.
Happy Hanukkah.
What is good? It's good for you. For you, it's good. I actually don't know.